How's it being home, Rhino?
It's good. I haven't been home this early in a long time.
You know, for you and your last year junior, to run into the COVID experience, walk us through that.
It really sucked just because of how close of a group of guys we had. That was probably the closest team I had been on. But I started hearing about Corona because my roommate's brother played in the AHL, and he was trying to get sticks from his brother, and the AHL couldn't even get sticks because what was going on in China. The Bauer or the CCM factories, Bauer factories were all shut down.
Yep.
So I kind of had an idea that it was getting kind of serious, but I didn't think it'd be anything like that. And then we actually drove 14 hours through the night on our bus to New Mexico. Got to their rink for morning skate, and then their coach came into our room and was like, hey, we're shutting everything down, because that was the night what happened with the NBA and Rudy Gobert or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, it was tough. And then we sat around for a week and tried to see what our league was going to do, and then they said they were going to pause it. So then we all came home, and then a week later they canceled it. So it was really tough just because the amount of time that I put into junior and all the memories I made, and it just kind of came to an end in a really strange, bizarre fashion.
Green. Wow.
Yeah, AAA all the way up until U16, and then for Billy and Pinch, and I just me and my parents decided that would be kind of a unique, cool experience to go out Maine, and a really good opportunity. And I think without that year, I don't grow and develop as much as a player as I did. Because Billy and Pinch gave me a lot of opportunity to grow. And then I ended up going to Saginaw's rookie camp that year. Got invited to training camp. And then about a week after that, I was pretty set on going to Saginaw's training camp in the OHL. And then I got a call from a guy named Joe Clark with the Topeka Roadrunners, and he said that they really wanted me, and that they thought I could play there. So I went through those camps or whatever, and really liked all the guys, really liked the coaches. So then I went to Topeka. I'd say for a 16-year-old kid in the NAL, I thought I had a pretty strong first year. Came back for my second year, was really excited. We had a really good group of returning guys. So I played I got scratched for the home opener. Was really confused on how that was. I was a returning guy. I thought I came to camp in good shape. I thought I was ready to go for the year. And then I got released the next morning, and that was really hard just because of how close I was with all the guys, and probably the most emotional I'd been. So then I went to, after that I got picked up by Brookings, went to Brookings, grew upon my good year. I had an even better year my second year in Brookings, and then was pretty close to some of the guys on that team. And then that summer I was at Omaha's camp, and then I got a phone call from Greg Gatto, who was the head coach of the Odessa Jackalopes at the time. And he said that they were about to draft me in the NAL draft, and I was really confused. I was planning on going back to Brookings, if stuff didn't work out at the Omaha camp or whatever. So ended up getting cut from Omaha. That was a really weird, bizarre thing. Thought I had a really good camp there. Their assistant general manager was talking to me and everything. So then I called Brookings head coach after Odessa had drafted me that day, and I was like, hey, what was going on? What happened? And it was Mo Mantha. I don't know if you guys know him at all, but he was really high up in hockey. He played for Pittsburgh, he played for Edmonton. He was on the U.S. Olympic team. He was just we're trying to go in a different direction. I was like, okay, thanks for everything and give me a shot or whatever. So I went down to Odessa, was there for about a week. And this is my third year junior now, and I broke my finger in a inter-squad game, and like very first shift. Didn't think anything was that wrong. I finished the rest of the game or whatever, and then after the game, like my finger was all messed up, and so I went and got an X-ray on it, and the doctor down there was like, "Yeah, like, you've got to have surgery just because like my finger would have been messed up forever the way it was broken." So then, like right after I had the X-ray, head coach of Odessa called me in, and he was basically like, "Yeah, like we're gonna take you off our protected list, and you know you can go home and you can have surgery, and you know you can come back. It might be hard for you to get in the lineup, or like if you want to explore other options, you can." So then I came home, had my surgery, got my finger all figured out, and I didn't really want to go back to Odessa at that point, and I was just kind of done with that. Like the fact that, you know, you would put me in a really bad spot after I was hurt. So then my buddy Trent Grimshaw was down in Shreveport, and he had just got cut from there, and he was like, "Hey, like you should really reach out to Soupy." He's Jason Campbell. He's the head coach in Shreveport, and he was like, "Yeah, like they need some D." So I reached out to him, and he was like, "Yeah, like we need defensemen. We'd love to have you." And he was super excited. So then I went down there, and to my surprise, they had already had 11D. So I got down to Shreveport. I was like, "I didn't know you guys needed defensemen." So then I went in there, played right away, like kind of found my groove as like a third, fourth defenseman, penalty kill, you know, overtime, playing against other teams' top guys, and had a couple D partners throughout the way. Was D partners with my best friend and my roommate on the team, CJ McGee, who's at Quinnipiac now. And yeah, like I just kind of found my niche there, and it was a really good spot, and it felt like home.
You want to hear something funny, Ryan?
Yeah.
I coached CJ McGee's cousin in New Jersey.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, the McGee family. They're great.
They're
Just
awesome.
a fantastic hockey family.
Yeah.
Blue collar, tough kids, real smart, good family.
Yeah. So yeah, then I went back home for the summer. We had just lost in the division finals to Amarillo. And I was kind of like, I was a really big part of that, and kind of had like it felt like home, you know? So then I went home, you know, had a really good summer, had a really good camp, went back down to Shreveport, had a good camp, kind of had established myself as one of our better defensemen, who was going to be a big part of the team. Had a really good year, had a lot of success. We had a really good team. Had developed like a lot of interest from D1 programs, and then committed to Ohio State, and then our season kind of got wrapped up short.
What about Shreveport, the culture, you know, how did they help you find yourself, take that next step? And the reason I ask is because the other organizations and the other stops that you had almost didn't seem to have that, you know, that support, or just something a little bit different in Shreveport for you.
Well, when I got to Shreveport, they kind of had they had their defensemen who were going to be, they had their offensive defensemen, they had their power play guys. And then my third year junior, my first year in Shreveport, I kind of took on like that big, like heavy, tough, gritty defenseman style of game that I was kind of known for. And so like I was physical, like I was always blocking shots, like I was really good on the PK. You know, like I'd step in for guys like if I had to. And they just kind of, they believed in me, and they gave me the opportunities to do what I was good at, and they found value in my game and what I could do. And then my second year in Shreveport, you know, my biggest Achilles heel, I guess you could say, as a player my entire life, from the time I was 8 years old or whatever, was my skating. I was never really a great skater, and then I put a lot of work and emphasis into my skating and, you know, being able to move better laterally. And then once I was able to do that, I was able to, like, I'd always been able to think the game, and that was kind of how I got by, and I always competed really hard. So then once I was able to add the skating in my second year in Shreveport, it allowed me to expand my role. You know, like retrieving pucks, breaking pucks out became a lot easier. It was a lot more smooth. And with my skating, I was able to play power play, and they just kind of always believed in me. Like Muskie and Soupy and Rich had always talked to me about, like, we need you on the ice, Dicky. Like, we don't need you in the box or whatever. Like, we love that you play with, and we love, like, how hard you play, but we need you on the ice at the same time.
I've heard
Ricky,
that.
So,
Ricky, have you ever heard that?
so
Yes, I think it runs in the blood.
Yeah.
yeah, so they just kind of preached to me, and Coach Rich actually, and he was big. He's like Brian, like, or I guess Dicky. They called me Dicky, but he's like, you know, like, in the North American League, you 110% can run a power play, but, like, he knew, like, this, like, I was talking to Ohio State and Fair State and Robert Morris, and he's like, once you get to that level, like, you're getting to a point to where you have to find what you're good at, and you have to be really good at it at the next level, because he's like, I'll be honest with you, like, at the next level, like, you're probably not a power play guy. And I was fully aware of that, you know, like, power play was just kind of something that I always wanted, and I was able to do it, but he just knew that at the next level, I'm probably not a power play guy at the next level. So he's like, you're at the next level, you're going to have to be a shutdown guy. Like, he's like, your goal should be, you know, to be the best penalty kill in the league, unbelievable stick on puck, like, hard to play against, and just a guy who can play against other guys or other teams' top lines. So that was kind of what I prided myself on, and I always competed, and I thought I was really good on the PK and really, really smart with the puck, and I just think it brought a lot of success for me.
How did you deal with, you know, being cut?
I kind of owned it. Like, I didn't try and put blame on a coach or a teammate, you know what I mean? Like, so, you know, as a returner, and I was still a young guy, that I probably thought that I deserved more than maybe what I had earned. And then so that was the one where I was like, okay, Ryan, like, you were definitely complacent on that one. And then after Brookings, I was just like, maybe I'm just not the right fit for that coach. And then after the Odessa thing, I was a little shooken up after that one. Like, I didn't know. I was like, wow, maybe I'm just not good enough. But I don't know. My parents were a big part of that. They were always really empowering, like, even through those times. And my friends were always super supportive. I don't know. And then I also kind of had the mindset of, like, after being released, I was like, okay, like, I'll go show you. You know what I mean?
Love it.
So, yeah, it was just kind of that. I always believed in myself. Like, I always thought I was good enough. I just knew there was stuff that I was just kind of took it as, like, okay, time to work harder.
Who are a couple coaches, and what did they give you as far as allowing you to do what, you know, Ryan can do?
Todd Jenkins. You know, me and Blade were best friends growing up, and Todd Jenkins I think he taught me at a young age to be coachable, which I think was huge for me, because I think I saw a lot of kids throughout, like, my junior career who just kind of thought they knew it all and weren't very coachable. I thought pinch was really important. I guess Billy and Pinch, I guess, are I kind of call them one, you know. And then Jason Campbell, Rich Brunt, and Scott Musket from Shreveport were really important for me. They saw me more as just like a tough defenseman, and they didn't put me in a box and only have me play a certain way. Like, they wanted me to expand my game even further while still focusing on the stuff that I was good at, if that makes sense. Like, they still wanted me to be hard to play against, like good on the PK, but they allowed me to do other stuff at the same time. Like, they allowed me to play hockey and not just, put me in a box and play like a Goonie style game, I guess you could say.
Yeah, get through that adversity, continue to work through it. You love the game, and now you've got some tremendous opportunities in front of you. And I think it's such a great message for kids out there, at 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and even 19 that, aren't at the top echelon, that aren't making the top teams and aren't in a place that maybe they want to be in. But if you keep working, you believe in who you are, the sky's the limit. What's one thing that you think you'll have to adapt within your game, whether it be mentally or physically, making that jump into the NCAA level?
Like, I've gone back and I've watched like entire games of like how OSU plays and the way they run their systems, like being the little fish again, if that makes sense. Like, the talent level is going to be a lot higher, like the speed's going to be a lot quicker. So I just think, I think it'll be a big jump, but as long as I put in the work that I need to this summer and focus on what I need to, sacrificing my body on the penalty kill and being hard to play against in defensives.
Well, certainly, Rhino, you've definitely proven that you can get over any adversities that are presented to you. So that bumpy road, it won't be a problem for you.
Walk us through that experience with the coach from OSU.
Well, call from Coach Bittner at Ohio State, and he just talked to me and he asked if I'd have any interest in coming out for a visit. I said, yeah, like I would. That'd be nice. And then yeah,
crossed my mind.
Yeah. So, and then they got me out probably about a week after that phone call. They sent me like this itinerary that was awesome. They had my whole, they had my entire day planned out from the minute I landed to the minute I went to sleep. So that was pretty neat. And then they took me. I met their academic advisor, Sean. He was incredible to me. And like throughout this whole time, everyone kind of made me feel at home and super welcome. And then they took me to like their student union, and one of my former teammates who I play with, we had lunch with him. And then they took me over to the coach's office. I met the associate head coach and the head coach, and they offered me during that meeting. I was like, yeah, I'm on board. And then they kind of took me around the rest of the facilities and showed me their locker room. Showed me their trainer's room. I met the equipment manager. They showed me the equipment room, showed me the rink. And then after that, I went and dropped the stuff they had gave me back at my hotel room. And then they took me out to this unbelievable steakhouse downtown Columbus. And I went with the coaching staff, and it was kind of crazy because we were downtown Columbus, and when like all the NHL guys are in Columbus, this is like the steakhouse that they go to when they're on the road. So I met the owner of that restaurant, and they just treated me like gold. It was incredible. And then their head coach picked me up in the morning. We grabbed a coffee and a bagel, and he dropped me off at the airport and said, "See you in the fall." So it was really cool.
You're like, you had me at steaks. Yeah, I'll sign up. What do you think would be really beneficial with you and your own experience that could help you to get to the next level?
My kind of the people that I always went to like talk about stuff that I was struggling with were my parents. And I always, I was really lucky because I always had, like, all my best friends were always guys who were playing junior, like guys, like they were playing in different leagues or whatever. So we were always kind of able to talk about like what each other were going through, like whether we were having success or we were going through a rough time. So I always kind of had my buddies and my parents to talk to, which were really good for me. Just being able to get stuff off your chest and frustrations that you had. So, like, and I give all the credit to my head coach, Jason Campbell in Shreveport. Like, Soupy was a guy that, like, he would tell you how he felt about you and like what he thought you needed to work on. But he was so open and so willing to accept criticism from his players almost. So like if you thought something could be better, like in his program, like he was so like, and you had ideas, like he was more than willing to like have someone come in there and like, you know, speak on how you feel. Like we had a defenseman this year. He won D-Man of the Year for the league, and he was unbelievable. But he felt that our practices were a little slow, and so he went in and he was like, Soups, like he went in like with me and a couple other guys in our leadership group, and he's like, Soups, like I think our practices are like a bit too slow. Like I think we're on the ice for too long, and I think it's just because there's a lot of fluff time. So Soupy was like, all right, like that's completely fair. Like we're on the ice for like 3 hours. I would agree with you. So he was like, all right, Millsy, like, can you do me a favor? Like, can you go home? Can you draw up a practice plan? And like you bring the practice plan to me and tell me how you want me to run it. So then Millsy went home. He drew up a practice plan. It was about an hour and a half practice where there wasn't a lot of like stopping. We went over practice in the room, got up there. It was a lot more tempo, a lot more high energy, and you know, Soupy didn't do as much talking like in between drills, and it kind of changed the way Soupy ran practices the rest of the year. And it was really cool just to have someone, if you thought you deserved to be in a spot that you weren't, like or you didn't like how something was going, like he was so open to any ideas and really cared about how every guy on the team felt, which I thought was, honestly, I'd never seen anything like it.
You know, you are one team and there's strength in numbers, and it shows a strength and it shows his character, and it teaches all those on the team as well, you know, that it's quite all right to be a human being. You know, everybody's got their strengths and weaknesses, and, you know, let's come together and make the best machine possible for a winning team.
Absolutely, because he's big, like, I'm going to call you out when you guys are in the wrong, but like if you guys need to call me out when I'm in the wrong, that's fine too. Like, let's just win hockey games. And I think it almost helped him coach, because he was like, well, if I'm going to sit back and you guys are going to tell me what's wrong with me, like when I tell you like something that I feel that's wrong with your game, or you're not doing our systems right, or you're not buying into what you're doing, like you can't say that it's the coach's fault, because our coach is sitting there owning anything that he felt he did wrong. Like
through the ranks and whatnot, like what are maybe one or two or even three things that Papa Bill, you know, just advice that he gave you?
Yeah, so Papa Bill is kind of crazy.
Oh, that's a good one. I love it. Spill it.
Yeah. Papa Bill is awesome, and just a really cool thing about Papa Bill is, like, I can't think of the exact situations, but sometimes he would only listen to the games, right? And he'd be able to tell, he'd tell me what he thought was going on in our locker room, or like what our coach was trying to do just from listening to the games. And he was always so spot on. Papa Bill for me he was really inspiring. Like he always believed in me through everything. Like no matter what was going on, like he believed in me, and he thought that I could get to the next level if I just kept putting in the work. And he kind of instilled like that never give up mentality. And like, you know, Papa Bill always said it, like whatever they ask you to do, just do it to the best of your ability was kind of the big thing. my favorite one is the ditch digger one. Like if they ask you to dig a ditch, you're the best darn ditch digger they've ever seen. You know, that was kind of spot on from what I learned from Papa Bill, and he always believed in me.
I mean, look at our family. Everybody's born in different places, you know, and that's the reflection of being a true hockey player, right? So you get traded and you move on and you pack your stuff up and it's time to pull your bootstraps up and then get to work in the next place you're in. So, you know, he was sent down and got called back up, sent down again. And then finally, you know, last 4 years, he was there with St. Louis, as you know, but you know, that in itself is a good teaching for any player out there, you know, to keep going. And you're doing it.
Yes, sir. I think a big thing too is like the people you surround yourself with. Like I know it's a little bit of a cliche, but having people in your corner who, like, no matter what's going on, believe in you. And like my friends and my parents, like I am really lucky to have the people in my life that I do.
For a pregame, what's your go-to?
Honestly, I would eat around noon, and this is gonna sound like, so when we were in Shreveport, we would always go to Chipotle. So I would just, normally me and my roommate, we would go to Chipotle. We'd eat after morning skate. We'd throw some Chipotle down, and then it would get me through the night. I wasn't crazy on playing on a full stomach. Like I almost liked to be a little bit hungry before a game, you know. And I don't know if this was like mental, but I was like, I'm hungry now. Like I'm gonna be hungry for that puck. Like,
yeah.
Like we're going to that suck.
I liked a little, maybe a piece of toast, peanut butter, honey, and banana at like 5 o'clock, and then I was kind of uppity at that point. Would have a peppermint mocha with some whipped cream on it.
That's cute.
Do you take like any sort of caffeine or like pregame sort of like anything you put in your system, like from a nutritional standpoint, that kind of gets you right between the ears / maybe it actually helps?
I would always have Spark and Arginine, and then O2 and Muscle Strength. That was kind of my, you know, I kind of love the Advocare products, and it was just kind of what I stuck with. But I don't know if you guys know do you guys know what Flexol is?
I'm sorry?
Like
you spray it under your arms, or what is that?
No, like Flexol or like Icy Hot.
Yeah. I used to rub it all over my legs.
Oh, here we go.
That's what me and this kid, Jacob Smith, did. I would lather my legs.
Love it. Love it.
It would give you this little burn.
Yep.
It was awesome. And I'd always ride the bike for 20 minutes. My old roommate, CJ McGee, got me on that.
That's old school right there. That is.
It would always make the legs feel good. So.
Vince Vaughn or Will Ferrell?
Will Ferrell. It's a no-brainer.
I figured from all your comments that you tossed under for your captions on Insta. You seem like a Will Ferrell guy.
I got one for you. How about Sid or Ovi?
I like Sid.
Gretzky or Lemieux?
Lemieux.
Who would your duo be? Would it be, I saw a thing, would it be McDavid and Gretzky, or would it be Crosby and Lemieux?
Sid and Lemieux.
I think we lost Chris.
Yeah, he's getting ready.
Of course.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing this, Rye.
Yeah, no, it was fun. It was really good to talk with you guys. I just wish you guys were like, I wish we were closer in age. Like, I wish I was closer to you guys in age. It's the only thing.
Like you say that, and I say the same thing about when I was playing in the family tournament with Uncle Keith and Uncle Ron, and you know, I'm sure Billy shares the same sentiments, and Chris too. But it's that same thing. But the fun thing is we'll get to come and watch you at Michigan or Michigan State.
Yes, sir. That'd be very cool.
We'll have to find a way to get some scrimmage together or family tournament or something like that.
Yeah,
We could have some fun out there.
for sure.
Good.